I'm Emily Mallory of Emily's Papercrafts. Today we are going to create a somersaulting origami horse. Let's get started. So we're going to get started with a 6-inch square piece of paper. It's also fun once you've mastered it on the bigger squares of paper to use much smaller ones and make little teeny miniature horses, but start with some big ones, get the skills, and then go crazy, have fun with some littler pieces of paper. So we're going to start with the white side up. So the colored side that the horse will be when we're all done is on the bottom. We're going to take the bottom corner and fold it to the top to create a ginormous triangle. And then we're going to unfold it and rotate it just a little bit and then fold a rectangle. So taking that bottom edge and folding it to the top edge. Next, we're going to unfold and we're going to rotate it again. So now we're going to have one more rectangle. When we are all done with this rectangle, we will have a big plus sign in the middle of our paper when we open it up. So there's our plus sign and one diagonal. We need to add the other diagonal, but on the other side of the paper. So flip it over. There's the one diagonal that I already have. So I know that my other diagonal that I need to do on this side is going to go from right to left. So again, the bottom point to the top point to make a big triangle. So now I'm going to flip it back over and I'm going to push in the middle and flip it back over. So now I have what I call dimples. So the right and the left points, if you would, have those dimples. So I'm going to pull those together and collapse it down into a square. So again, that's kind of sometimes one of the trickiest folds here. So we're going to take the two sides that have the dimples and bring them together. And then the two that are remaining, we're going to bring together and flatten down into a square. Next, we're going to take this top layer of paper. We're going to take the edge and fold to that center crease right there in the middle. I sometimes call this making a kite or an ice cream cone. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Take that side edge and fold it to that center crease. You can start to see that kite shape or the ice cream cone appearing. We're going to turn it over and do the exact same thing on the other side. Again, taking that edge, folding it into that center fold, and now it's really easy to see our kite or the ice cream cone. Next we're gonna, we gotta eat the ice cream cone. So now we get to eat our ice cream. So we're gonna just fold over that top triangle right there at the top edge of those. And then I always like to fold it on the other side as well, just to make it a little bit more flexible. All right, so then there's our ice cream cone part again. We're gonna unfold both sides back to our square. Now we are very carefully going to take our scissors and with the top layer of paper only, because there's multiple layers of paper underneath, only want to cut the top layer. We're going to cut exactly on this crease line that goes, it really goes all the way from top to bottom, but we only want to go up to the ice cream cone line. I have learned it works best to just cut one layer of paper at a time rather than cutting the whole thing at once, because sometimes it's really easy to catch these folds that are underneath. So I flipped it over and I'm going to cut on the line once again, right up to that ice cream line. Now we're going to open up these top flaps that we just cut. We're going to create a fold that goes from that very point all the way to where we cut it. We're going to do that on both sides here. Sometimes I think it looks like a fox once I get it all opened. We're going to flip it over and do the exact same thing on the other side. So opening up those flaps. Don't worry if it doesn't match exactly, because there will be a way of evening those up here with our next fold. So next we're going to take each one of the little points. We're just going to fold it over a little bit. These are going to become our horse hooves, if you would. So it does not really matter, especially on the first side, how much you fold them over. On the back side, we do want to try to line them up. So that way our horse will stand upright before it goes somersaulting. Even if it's off by a little bit, don't worry about it. Now I think it looks like a bat because it's got those little folded over corners. Almost there. So now we're going to take this side point and fold it over. So just that top layer of paper is getting folded over. We're going to do this on all 4 sides where we created our horse's hooves. Just folding it down. This is usually the step where if some of your creases aren't quite as neat and tidy in previous steps, it's a little bit hard to get everything to line up nice and neat. So here's our horse's belly and our 4 hooves. One of these becomes the head and the other the tail. So I'm going to flip it so that way my head and tail are now here on top. I tend to start with the head first, just in case if one side doesn't want to go nice and easily, I have the other side. So I'm going to kind of separate the 2 horses' legs here. And I'm just going to put my thumb kind of roughly where I want the head to go. My thumb is going in between. My left hand is kind of pinching it so I can't slide all around. And with my index finger, I'm just going to help create that crease right here in the middle. And I'm just going to pinch it shut. So if you want your horse having a very, looking down at its toes, or if you want it to be looking more like it's running out in the field, then you can adjust that crease as you wish. Then we're going to create the sort of square look of a horse's head by just tucking that tail inside, that little point, and then closing it up again. And we now have a horse's head. On the other side, I find it easiest just to flip it over, the choice of being right-handed. Again, I'm going to take my thumb and put it here inside the fold. And then I'm going to kind of just pinch those loose layers gently with my left hand. I'm going to take this point and I'm going to fold it and kind of encourage it. So I'm opening it up a little bit. It's called a reverse fold if you want the origami technical term. So I'm going to try to get this part to line up with this little fold. I realize that might be a little bit difficult to see with this pattern paper, but then I'm just going to pinch that fold. And then there is its tail. So there's the horse lying down flat. You can see there's the crease fold and then there's the tail continuing on. If you're like, oh, some horse hair is sticking out, you can fiddle fold with it till it looks super neat. Then to make our horse go somersaulting, you're going to stand him up. If one of the hooves isn't quite tall enough, short enough, then you can just go back and I call it fiddle fold, you can fix it. And to make it somersault, you're going to push up underneath its tail and it will go somersaulting. Thanks so much for joining me. I look forward to seeing you again.